Hello, everybody. It's Sports Guy Ron. I'm here with your Week 15 NFL previews and predictions. So, on the season, with the wins, I am 136, 69, 1. Against the spread, 93, 110, 3. We're going to go to Thursday night. It's a big game for Tampa. It's an NFC South matchup. We have Atlanta 4-9. They are at Tampa Bay 7-6. Tampa Bay is a 5.5-point favorite. I'm taking Tampa Bay to win and to cover. Atlanta's 1-7 in their last 8 games. Tampa Bay looks like they're going to get Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan back in their wide receiver rooms to some extent this Thursday. So that's going to be big. I think it'll help Ibuka. You've got Godwin playing well right now, so you've got a lot of weapons now, even though it looks like Cade Otton might be doubtful for the game. So he will be out at tight end, but they might just want to go to more receiver sets. Atlanta is missing Drake London. He's out. Obviously, Michael Penix is out, so it's Kirk Cousins starting. It's Bijan against Tampa, and maybe Atlanta's pass rush can get to Baker. Tampa's offense hasn't been going too well lately. This could be a closer game than some might think. I still think it's a touchdown game. Tampa's going to win. The Sunday games, we have an AFC North matchup. We have Baltimore hanging on to the division hopes. They're 6-7. They are 2.5-point favorites at Cincinnati, 4-9. They're also hanging on to faint division hopes. Can Cincy keep that hope alive? That's a good question. I saw Joe Burrow's press conference. He seemed very unhappy and kind of down and depressed. Is he okay? Does he want to trade out of Cincinnati this offseason? Is he going to retire? It's giving me Andrew Luck vibes. I hope that's not true. Love watching him play. Higgins is questionable for Cincinnati, so that's not going to help them. It's hard to believe that a second concussion so soon that he's going to be able to play this weekend, but we'll see. He did have practice on a limited basis, so we'll see about that. I'm taking Baltimore, though, to win and to cover. Some revenge for the game, the Thursday night game with Cincinnati when Burrow came back. So I'm thinking Cincinnati. Vegas, they are 2-11. They're traveling to Philadelphia, 8-5. Philadelphia is an 11.5-point favorite. I'm still taking Philadelphia to win and to cover with those points. Looks like Kenny Pickett's going to start for Las Vegas, going back to Philadelphia where he was the backup to Hurts in their Super Bowl season. Philly, short rest. They played Monday night, overtime game. Is that going to have lasting effects on them against Las Vegas? Plus, they'll probably be chilly. It's pretty cold here in the Northeast and in the Midwest right now. Can Philadelphia keep feeding Saquon Barkley? He actually hit some runs against the Chargers. Looked pretty good. Had a big touchdown run. They need to keep that up. I am taking Philadelphia to win and to cover. We have Arizona 3-10. They are going to Houston 8-5. Houston's a 9.5-point favorite. A little scared to lay 9.5 with Houston. They don't score a ton, but that defense, getting some turnovers perhaps. Maybe they can get their offense going. I'm going to take Houston to cover and to win. We have Houston's number 1 defense versus the Arizona offense, and I have in parentheses, can't run. They've got banged up running backs. I guess it's going to be Bam Knight is going to be their lead runner. Everyone else seems to be out. Houston's 8-2 in their last 10 games. Marvin Harrison's looking unlikely to play with a heel injury. That means more Michael Wilson. He's been phenomenal the last few weeks, but it hasn't translated into a lot of wins. So for those reasons, I'm taking Houston to keep the roll going. They're making a playoff push, and it looks like they're going to get there. In an AFC West matchup, in the next game, we have the LA Chargers 9-4 at Kansas City 6-7. Kansas City is a 5.5-point favorite. I'm taking Kansas City to win, but I'm taking the Chargers to cover. It's a lot of points when they're 3 games worse than the Chargers. The Chargers did win week 1 in Brazil and dominated the game. Kansas City's not playing well. Is this the last hurrah for them this season? If they lose, they're done for. So they really need to win the game. LA's coming off short rest. They played that Monday night overtime game against Philadelphia. Is Herbert more healthy? He only got 6 days. He got pounded around a little bit in that game. Got sacked quite a bit. So I'm not sure if he's more healthy or not, or he's like a little less healthy. It's a good question. He didn't throw for a lot, but they ran enough and made enough plays to win. I think they can keep it close, but I'm taking Kansas City to stave off elimination. The big AFC East matchup, looking forward to this one. Buffalo 9-4. They are 1-point favorites at New England 11-2. Kind of disrespectful to New England, but I get it. They've played an easy schedule, and Buffalo has been winning for quite a while. I'm taking Buffalo to win and to cover in this game. Can Buffalo avenge the Week 5 home loss? New England went into Buffalo and won that game and announced that they are going to be a force to reckon with this year in the AFC. New England has extra prep time. They came off the bye, so that gives them 2 weeks to prepare. Not that they needed it, though, for a division rival, but, will the rest help them? Buffalo had a back-and-forth game with Cincinnati last week, so are they a little less rested? Probably. That usually helps the team, but not always. And this is a big game. Buffalo's going to be up for it. You have the Bills' number 5 scoring offense versus New England's number 5 scoring defense. Is New England actually going to be able to limit Josh Allen? I'm taking Buffalo for that reason, for Josh Allen. I just think, this is a big matchup for the MVP, too. Drake May is definitely in the conversation. So if he can beat Buffalo again and play well against Josh Allen again, this is really going to help his candidacy. He's a top 3 favorite to be MVP this year. The New York Jets, they are traveling to Jacksonville. The Jets are 3-10. Jacksonville is 9-4. Jacksonville is 13-point favorites. I'm taking Jacksonville to win and to cover. The Jets, they have Brady Cook starting at quarterback, most likely. Rookie from Missouri. Is Jacksonville due for a letdown? Yes, they are, but they're pretty excited about being in playoff position. It's been a while, so I think that's going to keep them motivated and looking forward. They do have a tough game next week at Denver, so I guess you could be looking forward to that, but they want to handle their business. They can pretty much lock down a playoff spot with a win in this game. So I think that's going to say that they're going to try to get that win. The only question is, can Trevor Lawrence protect the football? Problem is, the Jets have 0 interceptions this year. It'll be something if this is the game they decide to get some interceptions and make it close against Jacksonville, but I don't see it. I'm taking Jacksonville. In an NFC East matchup that has no playoff implications whatsoever, we have Washington 3-10. They are at the New York Giants 2-11. Giants are 2.5-point favorites. I'm taking New York to win and to cover. I just think the Giants have been playing better reasonably well lately, even though they haven't been winning. Washington did have the good game against Denver, but really laid an egg last week. We'll see what happens. Mariota starts. They're resting Jaden Daniels. He's not seriously injured from that fall he took on the interception last week after coming back from the dislocated elbow, but they're going to rest him this week. New York's coming off a bye. Will that recharge their batteries for the last 4 weeks? Washington's coming off that embarrassing game when they lost 31-0 to Minnesota. And Zach Ertz is out for the season for Washington. That hurts their offense immensely. So for those reasons, I'm taking the Giants. So now let's go to board number 2. Okay, in the last 1 o'clock game on Sunday, we have Cleveland 3-10. They're traveling to Chicago 9-4. Chicago is a 7.5-point favorite. I'm taking Chicago to win and to cover. Although Chicago hasn't had much recent success against Cleveland. But Caleb Williams is going to make the difference, I think, and plus their overall team. We have Chicago's offensive line, which has been playing very well as of late, against Brown's defensive line, which is the strength of their team with Myles Garrett. He's 3 3 sacks short of the NFL record for a season. Cleveland's run defense has been pretty good this year. They really played their worst game against Tennessee's run offense last week. Tony Pollard chewed them up, and that's what was a deciding factor in the game. Can they rebound against DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai? Shedeur Sanders, can he keep playing well? He played really well against Tennessee. Problem is, Chicago has a very opportunistic defense. They're number one in interceptions with 18. So I'm looking for that to be a factor. We'll see if the young guy can keep the control of the ball and not turn the ball over. I'm betting that we have a couple turnovers, and the Browns' special teams have been horrible. I think Chicago can take advantage of that, and they'll win and cover. NFC South matchup, the first 4 o'clock game, Carolina 7-6. They are at New Orleans 3-10. Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite. I'm taking Carolina to win and to cover. We have a young quarterback battle with Bryce Young and Tyler Shook. Can New Orleans continue to run the ball? They did pretty well last week with Devin Neal. Can he help Shook and keep that offense balanced? Shook did also a good job running the ball, not so much passing it last week. But they're going to be in the warm confines of the dome. So, the offense, the passing game might do a little better. Olave likes to catch the ball at home. He makes a lot of big plays there. Carolina, can they handle the pressure of expectations? That's a good question. They're a younger team, especially on offense. They're tied for the division lead with Tampa. They need this game. That's why I'm taking them. But, sometimes a young team has to take a step back before they can take a step forward. And we'll see if that's what happens here. Big game. The next game, we have Detroit 8-5 at the LA Rams 10-3. The Rams are 6-point favorites. I'm taking the Rams to win, but I'm taking Detroit to cover that spread. Detroit really needs this game. They're right now on the outside of the playoffs looking in. However, if they do win this game, they are over 50% to actually make the playoffs. So that's in their favor. The Rams have the number 1 seed right now, but Chicago had it last week, lost a game. They dropped down to the 7 seed. So the Rams need to keep rolling if they want to have a home playoff game or control of the conference in the playoffs. We have a battle of physical teams and high-octane offenses. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he had that ankle that he played through against Dallas. He had an extra half a week since that was a Thursday game and we're going to Sunday. He's had 10 days to rest. Will that help him get closer to 100%? He still played well against Dallas. Detroit, they're banged up defensive backs versus the number 1 Stafford passing touchdowns. He's like way ahead. He's like 8 passing touchdowns ahead of the next player. So Detroit's defense is really going to be tested in the secondary, and they're banged up, and they're picking up players off of waivers to try to fill spots. So I think that's the reason LA is going to be able to win the game. But I think Detroit, with all their motivation, is going to be able to keep it within 6 points. It's a lot of points against a very good team. Speaking of which, Indianapolis is 8-5. They're heading to Seattle 10-3. Seattle is a 13.5-point favorite at home. I'm taking Seattle to win and to cover. I just don't know what I'm going to get with Indianapolis. Right now, Jonathan Taylor isn't running the ball. We have no idea who Indy's quarterback is going to be. Is Riley Leonard. He's got a knee after Daniel Jones had Achilles surgery. He's got a knee and is banged up. Riley Leonard does. If he doesn't play, is Phillip Rivers actually going to play? They signed the 44-year-old. He was actually eligible for the Hall of Fame this year. Is he ready to play? Is he able to play? And even if he is, Seattle's defense is no joke. Can Indy handle their balanced Seattle attack? On offense, they're a top 10 offense. On defense, they're top 10. For those reasons, I'm taking Seattle. Indianapolis is in the tailspin. And I just think that Seattle's really trying to still get that number 1 seed. They're hoping for some help from Detroit here and be able to handle business. And they've got a tough schedule, so they need the win here because I think this might be the easiest one. They've got the Rams game on Thursday to look forward to here. Seattle and the Rams play next Thursday, so that's going to be a big game, and I think Indianapolis is a little better of a team to play than Detroit. I'm a little worried about the Rams for that Thursday game. The next game, speaking of good teams in the NFC, we have Green Bay, 9-3-1. They are 2.5-point favorites at Denver, 11-2. So you see, Vegas really believes that NFC is much stronger than the AFC this year, and I have to agree with that. I am taking Denver to win and to cover. I think Denver, this is the game where they announced that they're a real threat to play with the big boys in the NFL this year. Green Bay's mindset, you have to question that. They had a big game last week against Chicago. And not only that, they play Chicago again this following week after this Denver game. So it's sandwiched. You have to wonder about their mentality. They're having to travel to Denver into the mile-high air. And so I'm questioning that. Can Denver up their game? I think they're ready to. Their defense is. Can the offense catch up? They seem to be clicking a little better. I think they can step up another notch. We'll see if they can do it. And will the pass rush dominate the offenses? Both Green Bay with Micah Parsons and Denver's pass rush are top-tier pass rushes. Will that control the game and keep it low scoring and close? Probably, but I still think Denver can win and to cover. The last game at 4 o'clock, we have Tennessee 2-11 coming off the win against Cleveland. They're traveling to San Francisco 9-4. San Francisco is a 12.5-point favorite. I'm taking San Francisco to win and to cover. Can San Francisco take advantage of the schedule? They've got a pretty easy schedule coming up, and they're going to try to catch the Rams in Seattle for the division, the NFC West there. Was Tennessee's run game a one-off fluke? Like I said before, at the Cleveland-Chicago matchup, Tennessee ran the ball really well. I think Pollard had like 160-some yards, but that hasn't been that way all season. So is that just a fluke, or did they find something with that game in their run game? The 49ers, can they take advantage of the bye and get healthy? They've had a lot of banged-up players. Some they won't get back, but some perhaps they can get back. And at least the guys that are playing banged up, like Jawan Jennings, could get more healthy and maybe make a run here the last 4 weeks of the season. In the Sunday night game, we have Minnesota 5-8 traveling to Dallas 6-1. Dallas is a 5.5-point favorite. I'm taking Dallas to win and to cover. Can Dallas stay in the division race? They're a game and a half behind Philly. Philly's likely to win against Las Vegas, so Dallas needs this victory to keep up, and they'll only have 3 games left to try to catch them. Still going to be difficult. They really need some help. Is CeeDee Lamb available? What about George Pickens? He seemed a little disinterested on the night when they lost to Detroit. At least some people think so. Is Lamb going to be able to come back from that concussion? It's unlikely. Didn't like the way he looked after he had hit his head, so he may not be available for this week. Brian Flores, his blitz against Dallas's offense, can they get pressure on Dak and cause some turnovers and keep this game close? I'm saying Dallas wins and covers, but there is a path for Minnesota if J.J. McCarthy can play reasonably well like he did last week. The Monday night game, we have Miami 6-7. Very faint playoff hopes, but they're winning games. I think what is it, like 4 in a row or 5 in a row? They're traveling to Pittsburgh 7-6, who leads the division now by 1 game over Baltimore in the AFC North. Pittsburgh's favored by 3 points. I'm going to take Pittsburgh to win and to cover. It's likely to be cold. We're having cold weather here in the north, like I said. Devon Achane is questionable with ribs that he left the last game with. Can Aaron Rodgers play well again? That's a question. He's been very up and down, mostly down this season. He played very well against the Ravens. Can he keep that up? Can Miami handle that weather? Tua, usually bad in cold weather. He played pretty well against the Jets, but that was 40-something. I think it's supposed to be cooler than that, especially as it's Monday night. Although their offense, they've been running the ball so much, Mike McDaniel has been limiting to his attempts and keeping the number of passes down, and that seems to have worked. So maybe they have a plan for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense is very up and down. You really don't know which one you get. So I see a path where Miami can actually win this game. And late news, TJ Watt has a lung issue. He had to go to the doctors for this. They said something that happened in the training room. I don't know if this is like a Tyrod Taylor where he was getting a needle for something and something hit a lung or something, or what. As of when I'm doing this, I don't know. But he might be questionable for the game. That would be a big loss for Pittsburgh's defense. So we'll see about that. But I think Herbig and Highsmith can handle it if he is out. But it's something to keep an eye on for the weekend. Okay, so that's the whole weekend. Hope you like this video and give me a subscribe if you enjoyed it. Looking forward to hearing from some of you. And I hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the games. Talk to you later.